NK Telco Sports welcomes you to coverage of college basketball here in Ada, where the Muskingum Fightin Muskies take on the Ohio Northern Polar Bears. Tonight's game brought to you by the First National Bank, Keyhole Pizza, Precision Strip, Winners Quality Meats, Grand Lake Health Systems, and NK Telco. Here inside Campoli Court, the ONU Sports Center, the women getting ready to get it on here. The 7-4 Polar Bears, but 5-0 in the OAC. Welcome the Fightin Muskies, who Muskingum at 6-6 and 1-4. Mike Hearn and Rich Ben's been here this afternoon, and I love these big afternoon OAC showdowns because, you know, you look at high school basketball, you get a Friday night, you get a Saturday night, but you get it on in the early afternoon, and you find out kind of how these teams are because the tournament comes around later in the year. You play any day, any time.
Right, and depending on whether the women and the men are playing too, you could play an 8 o'clock game at night on a Tuesday. But this is going to be really important that I don't think Ohio Northern overlooks Muskingum, because obviously they got a big game coming up on Wednesday with Baldwin Wallace. They're both undefeated in the league.
Yeah, anytime you got to go to Berea, it's not an easy thing. But beating Otterbein on the road 67-54 and a 24-12 fourth quarter. Brooke Allen 18-12, 8 offensive rebounds, though, as we talk about that a lot with these broadcasts about how big offensive rebounding can be. I mean, anytime that you get from your post 8 offensive rebounds, you couple that with Bryn Servin having a Bryn Servin type day, 25 points, 7 steals, 3 assists, 4 rebounds. But a big key is the Bears, who really at times struggle shooting 3 at just 25%. You had 9 out of 21. They went on that big streak when they got down, sort of had to find themselves, and if they can do that today, they can have a pretty good look against a Muskingum team that had their heart broken against Marietta.
Yeah, well, when you're talking about offensive rebounds, you also got to talk about second chance points, because that's always a key to things.
So the loss to Marietta snapped a 3-game win streak for Muskingum. We'll talk about the starting lineups and more about this ball game when we come back to Ohio Northern University here after the anthem on NK Telco Sports.
In the new year 2024, between the visitors, the Fightin Muskies of Muskingum University, and your Ohio Northern Polar Bears. We now ask everyone, please rise. Gentlemen, remove your caps as we have the playing of our national anthem.
Six and 6 for Muskingum, coming in at 1-4 in the league. Like I talked about, the Bears at 7-4, 5-0 though in the league, trying to slow down Caitlin DeMassimo. Last year, a school record 38 points. Oh, and a school record 16 free throws. So get the starting lineups. 17 attempts, that's a pretty good way to get things started. The starting lineup for Coach Kelly Broderick, you see off to the left side in her second year, 16-21. Coached in New York for a while before she got to Muskingum. She'll bring out Hallie Moorhead, a 5'7" junior wearing number 1, averaging 5.3 a game. Claudia Harrington, a 5'6" sophomore, she can fill it up. 12.8 points a game, 6 rebounds. For number 14, 5'4" sophomore, and Lizzie Allen wearing 21. And the DeMassimo sisters, the 5'8" senior wearing 22, and Taylor at 9 points a game. And the young lady who Mark Hulsman says she's a pain to us, in Caitlin DeMassimo, 23, the 5'9" junior, 15 points, 8 rebounds a game. As the lights go out and the Polar Bears bring out one of the program's all-time leading scorers and potentially the very first young lady in ONU history to become a 5-time All-OAC pick. I'd say it's going to happen. Bryn Servin wears 3, the 5th-year senior, flanked by Layla Dials wearing 12. Abby Akamine, a 5'7" junior at 9 points a game, wearing 13. Peyton Warnacke, not Warnacke, as they would have you believe in Las Vegas, the 5'9" senior wearing 33, and Brooke Allen wearing the 4-4s. 10.5 points a game, a 6'1" junior. Looking at the keys to the game for this ball game, brought to you by Keyhole Pizza. Both coaches kind of talked about how they want to get this one going, and it's an early run for Muskingum. Pretty simple from both coaches. Defensive rebounding, limit turnovers, and have multiple players score.
Yeah, that seems like it's consistent with a lot of things in basketball.
Speaking of consistency, you'll see that from Mark Hulsman here in a second. Rebound on both ends, contest shots, and make your own easy shots. That's a pretty good recipe for success.
Yeah, and I think they missed a lot of easy buckets in Las Vegas.
I heard there was a story about that in Vegas. Someone told me recently. Akamine drives to the basket, tried to work the hard one. Allen with another rebound and just kind of smothered on the tie-up. That's a hard one, too, because it comes down and she tried to muscle it out against a smaller defender. So we'll see what the Muskies can do. You look at the series. Last year, the teams played 3 times. ONU won all 3. They won 4 straight. But they had to work. 52-51, 65-54, and 75-70 for ONU. This ball sent right back down. And do you like these aggressive chase early defenses for ONU?
Yeah, I think it fits their style. And they do a good job right there. They were all in help position, crowded the floor.
So Moorhead misses, and Warnacke with the rebound. The first time now that Bryn Servin. 1,063 career points for her. Feeds inside. Brooke Allen turns. Great little move for her. Say make the easy shots. It looked easy for her.
Yeah, right. That was a good shot.
So 9:03, Northern takes their first lead on the First National Bank scoreboard.
If you got great help defense, you can heat up the ball a little bit. You can get on the ball.
Well, here's a 3 for the lead. Skims halfway down and out for the Muskies. Skim DeMassimo, 10 of 37 coming in as Brooke Allen up top of the basketball. Probably not where she wants to shoot, 0 for 2. Akamine will bring it to the free throw line through the first 30 seconds, and Warnacke. Muskingum making ONU work here.
Yeah, that wasn't a great angle for a post feed. If she would have reversed it maybe to the wing, I think they would have had a better look.
But you just look at Bryn Servin, last year's OAC Player of the Year, Defensive Player of the Year, Tournament MVP. 25 points in the last game, tied her career high that was set against Mount Union last year. As here, looking to try to fill it up, and just a little too strong for Dials. But Servin, 134 assists last year, 81 steals. Both are #1 all-time at ONU.
Yeah.
And she just continues to climb up every chart. And right on cue, the all-time steals leader with another one. Goes to the basket, a little up and under. You made that move a couple times, right?
Yeah. The thing about Bryn also is she's a pharmacy major, so, you know, going to
She's pretty smart.
Yeah.
See, North Allegheny High School senior now, the 5th-year senior. Oh, that was a double dribble. I always kind of feel for players when they do that. Hallie Moorhead, I think for a split second when she came around the top on that curl, was surprised there was no one there.
Right.
And just that awkward in-between dribble of, oh, my gosh.
Yeah.
Oh, never mind.
And Bryn kind of hedged, but she came back. But you speak of North Allegheny, that's a really big high school in Pittsburgh.
Well, she was clearly a standout to end up here in Ada. So now a standout in Ada. The Bears working down hard, going to Brooke Allen to the post, almost dribbled it off her own foot.
They brought everybody down there to...
I just decided a couple of days ago to mention this the next time I got a chance, but I don't believe that here at Ohio Northern there are anyone that work harder than Tim and Tom. the AD and the SID.
Oh, yeah.
Because they each are doing multiple things during every game.
Over there taking pictures.
That's what made me think of it. He's probably stepping in as a shot block. Dials with the rejection. It was on the all D3 hoops.com tournament team in Vegas. You got to be having a pretty good job to be on that team.
You got some kind of retired professors here too. Bob Ward across the way there was engineering professor.
He's just taking in some afternoon basketball.
Yeah, absolutely.
He's so smart, nobody wants to sit by him. They just kind of feel intimidated. Serban off balance, can't get that shot to come near. And what I've always loved about the duo of Brooke Allen and Bryn Serban is they kind of work so well together, peanut butter and jelly, because no matter which one of them kind of misses, they seem to know where the other one is at all times.
Right. And when opposing teams, you know, they're going to take something away. And when they try to take something away, there's going to be something open. And both of those girls know kind of how to read that.
So Brooke Allen out the line. She'll eventually be replaced by Ottawa Glendar's Chloe Glenn, but not until she's 6-1 straight down. 6:45 to go up 5-0 now. 25 games last year, averaged 4.5, but with obviously Kristen Luersman being unavailable and with losing a couple of players in the post, she's come on and has really done a great job for the Bears. So now leading 6-0. The only person not happy is Coach Broderick standing directly to my right. See 3 on the pullback. Bounced down and picked up by Noelle Ruane. Not Ruane, as they would have you believe in Vegas. Serban does so great with change of direction.
Yeah.
Just kind of in and out of breaks. Launches a 3. Rolls off the side of the rim, and DeMassimo with the rebound.
See, even on the miss, they tried to get it into Bryn's hands for the transition.
Serban now on the defensive end. She Nakamine up top. So again, Muskingum's not really had bad shots. They just won't drop.
No.
So taken away by who else? Bryn Serban. Now out on the run, little ball fake, up to the rack, and again, that's a continue to give her flowers, but it's 8-0 Northern, and what she does with that little stop and go is she hits impossible shots.
Yeah, yeah.
Kind of from angles that you shouldn't be able to. Abby Dixon, the junior, in defensively for the Bears.
Bryn's in the gym a lot working, though.
Well, she's got a lot of free time. I'd imagine they just gave her a key here. Just to go ahead, turn the lights out when you're done. Serban now off the Harrington miss. Sakamine back out. Ruane from St. Mary's. No apostrophe in St. Mary's. It's a very important distinction. Dixon. It's kind of seemed to me, depending on which angle you have, that little new thing that I know high school they're getting away with a lot of, stick your right arm out, sort of dislodge the defender. This time it's called the other way.
Yeah, more than what they have in the past. There's always stressors that the officials are going to stress each year, and it seems to be a little bit more physical now than it has been in the past.
Dixon hit the side of the backboard. It's a quick little dribble handoff. Nothing doing in the mistake. Great save just for Muskingum and Lizzie Allen. That ball should have definitely ended up in Northern's bench.
Yeah, a little flat screen there on the top of the key. They're running a 5-out offense.
Good looking shot. DeMassimo, whose dad wore 23, and the reason why she wears 23, gives her team the first basket with a 3. Inside, Chloe Glenn had her shot blocked by, you kind of look at it on paper, and if you say, well, Northern's probably fueled by Bryn Serban, you can talk about DeMassimo on the other end as a first timeout comes at 4:29 left in the first quarter. Ohio Northern up 8-3 on the First National Bank scoreboard, and a precision strip timeout here on NK Telco Sports.
At First National Bank, we are working hard to make your life a little easier. With products like Card Valet, an app allowing you to control your cards with real-time notifications, transaction restrictions, and spending limits. The ability to access your money through 55,000 all-point ATMs across the country, surcharge-free. Live customer support when you need it, and online and mobile banking, allowing you to gain access to your financial information wherever and whenever you like. First National Bank, making your life a little easier.
Get a look inside the Muskingum huddle as they try to figure out what to do here with an 8-3 deficit. It is smooth jazz hour here. It's all right.
And that means the students are still on break.
Right. Kayla DeMassimo, by the way, had a season-high 27 against Ohio Wesleyan on November the 29th, the all-time leading scorer for the Norwayne Bobcats. I thought it was fascinating, though. I read a lot, and kind of akin it again to being that player that everybody looks for, and the fact that she's had such a terrific career. The article that I was reading about her this week talks about how kind of with her family and with her upbringing that her grandparents own a dairy farm. Her parents own a horse boarding facility. So she's understanding hard work and probably wanting more to go out and play basketball than to shovel the horses.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Just kind of makes you...
And that's getting up early in the morning, too, when you're doing that.
Yeah, I do. That's why I could never be a farm kid. It's one of the reasons. Serban to the basket. Oh, my goodness. Someone call Isaac Newton and tell him we have just disregarded the laws of physics. Falling down, just randomly throwing one up to give ONU a 10-3 lead.
They got a little bit more of a pattern offense here this time down the floor.
Lizzie Allen, look at the back door. It was open. Glenn got beat by a step. Shot missed. But I call that the horse shot. You don't even take your letter. You just take all the letters.
Yeah.
Throw the control, reset the game. You're done.
She made a great backdoor cut. She just didn't finish.
Glenn with a great turn, but DeMassimo is always at the end of a rainbow saying no pot of gold for you. However, free throws for that young lady. I think she might have gotten poked in the eye. Funny story about Chloe Glenn. So a couple of days ago, I was at the Elida Fieldhouse where one of her last games as a high school player took place, and she's got that, you can see the knee brace on her right after everything that she's been through. And her teammates, her current teammates, were opining and reminiscing that she took 2 big gashes out of the floor at the Elida Fieldhouse, and they're still there. And when they were looking for it, as she goes 1 out of 2 to give ONU an 11-3 lead, they were pointing to it, and the gentleman doing the custodial duties that day walked up and said, "Oh, you're looking for Chloe's scrapes on our floor? No, it's over there on the other side."
Mike, I taught English for 25 years. I was just impressed with the word opining.
I love that word. That's one of my favorite ones. That and discombobulated. They shot up and off. My dad tried to get me to use disestablishmentarianism, and I couldn't find a way to work it into a sentence. So feed down high. I'll say a lot of things you won't be happy about. Dean, left hand, too strong off the glass, got her own rebound. And that's what I love about Mark Hulsman's teams, kind of carrying over from what Michelle had, that she and he recruit players that they don't give up on plays.
No, yeah. You got to talk about it all the time is play through. Play through your successes and through your failures.
Noe Ruane from downtown St. Mary's for 3. She didn't even catch that ball cleanly. My goodness, she had a game when she was a senior. Her very first game of her senior year, she had 6 3-pointers in a win and ended up with just a perfect night. She went 6 of 6. She didn't make but 6 threes her entire junior year. Now with the most beautiful catch and shoot. It's a tie up and a foul. Oh, I really thought that was going to be a foul, to be honest with you. Courtney Hivik, the sophomore, had it taken out of her hands, and it's a turnover the other way. And when you get into games like this as a coach, kind of on the trailing side, as Muskingum is right now, do you get to a point where, I mean, you're looking at the clock, you're waiting for your free timeout at the quarter break. Are you just hoping you get there with something good happening?
Yeah, but again, like I said, you gotta play through your mistakes and play through your, successes. And right now it's all Ohio Northern.
Ruane with 5 straight. And somewhere, Dollar Bill Ruane, her dad, is smiling. So Soprano with the foul, tried to pick it off. That is the first foul against Ohio Northern. Abby Akamine back in for ONU. Tori Jones, the 5'6" sophomore, and a pretty good three-point shooter at 27 of 55. And just, if you got changes, go ahead and make them.
Yeah, they got a 1-4 across the baseline here on this out of bounds.
So I'm surprised Jones, hands on hips to the outside. They didn't try to maybe flip back to her. Claudia Harrington, the sophomore. Ow. Trying to play that little pitch and catch, but what is so good about Harrington is the TRC Player of the Year as a senior. She's able to create, and if you are able to take any kind of pressure off Caitlin DeMassimo, that, well, she does, but it's been few and far between there.
Right. And you need those separators on the floor. What I mean by that is you can separate a little bit from the defense.
Allen missed. Again, a hustle foul. I mean, are those fouls that irritate you as a coach, or you just kind of look at it of, well, she was trying to get the rebound and just kind of put herself in not a great position?
Well, they do when they're farther away on the floor. But when they're, in a situation like that, it's just being aggressive.
I mean, Mark's a pretty chill guy. You were maybe known to be a little more high-strung than what Mark is.
Yeah, but he's a little more high-strung in practice than people would know.
He's also funnier than a lot of people realize, as the ball lost by Hivik. Now the 4th turnover here in the first quarter. 1:05 to go. Just a disastrous run. Ohio Northern ended up going up 4-0 early. They went up 8-3. Put up another 8 points before the last score as Glenn looked away before the bounce. She was looking for Soprano the whole time.
Yeah, that was a good skip, though. Changed the floor.
Akamine on the pull-up. Representing Lahaina Lua.
That skip pass, that created all of that.
Just a massively good quarter for ONU so far. It's a back door. Oh,
yep.
Again, that high. There must be a loose board over there. Just that weird high bounce has happened twice now down there.
And they had 2 good looks on their back doors. They just didn't finish.
Northern will work from the top. Shot clock and game clock differentiated by about 3. Bears being patient up top as they walk it back with Abby Dixon. Dixon down to 9 on the shot clock, 10 on the game clock. So pull up Soprano from the elbow. Rattles it down. Everything coming up orange and black. 1 quarter down here in Ada. It's an Ohio Northern 20-5 lead on the First National Bank scoreboard. We're back here in just a couple of minutes on NK Telco Sports.
Hi, I'm Mallory. My grandpa's been making the world's worst pizza for 30 years. That doesn't look like the world's worst pizza. Grandpa, I know why they call you Chunky Bob. It's because you use chunky ingredients on your pizza.
Of course. It's not because I'm fat.
Grandpa, this is the world's best pizza. Keyhole Pizza, come check Grandpa out.
Dine in or carry out.
Together, we are family, working safely for our loved ones.
We are problem solvers who challenge the status quo and drive improvement.
We care about our customer relationships.
We stay true to our values, caring and respecting one another.
We embrace change as we journey through our career.
We are Precision Strip, the world's leading processor of rolled steel and aluminum.
Precision Strip, doing the exceptional.
A very spirited discussion in the Muskingum bench, and a lot of it was, we can't continue to give up offensive rebounds. They are shorter than you are.
Yeah.
Please get the rebounds. Let's just say that's the gist of what the conversation was.
Just got to get a body on somebody and block out.
But if you go back to the Keyhole Pizza keys of the game, it's what we talked about. 3 up and down. So out of the timeout now, Tori Jones for the quarter break brings her team a little bit closer.
It was a good crossover. She kind of went to the screen and crossed it over, and good-looking shot.
28 of 56 for Tori out of New Philly. Woody Hayes came from there. Also, pretty good shot. Feed down inside, Chloe Glenn. Good ISO up off the glass for 2. I told her I needed 15 from her, referencing her career high in Vegas in game 1.
Well, they were taking away the pass from the wing, so we reversed it to the high elbow, and they got a great post feed because of the angle.
So Ohio Northern just continuing their torrid shooting. Ohio Northern men, by the way, up 26-19 in the first half on Muskingum. And back-to-back triples. Hallie Moorhead drops this one down. That's her 10th in 35 shots. That's a lead at 22-11. Glenn rocking the same shoes that, or a version of the same shoes that I bought and bought my daughter. Goes to the basket short off the front, and it's so funny getting to see her game grow from being a freshman at Ottawa Glandorf, and now with the offensive foul.
They were really aggressive on Bryn on that screen, so they it was a hard hedge, and they both stayed pretty high, and that left the roll right open for Chloe.
It's kind of been the one thing, though, that I've seen at times that even, she said it, her head coach Troy Yant has said it too, of being ultra aggressive sometimes has led to fouls.
Yeah.
Ruane and Dean back into the Ohio Northern lineup. Oh, if you're going to step back, I'm going to continue to shoot it. Serving with another rebound off the miss from Harrington. We're back into the ball game now. The leader for the Bears out on the run, takes on 2 defenders, kicks up top for Grace Dean. Didn't like it. Akamine will try herself. Good screen from Ruane to get her open. And Ruane ends up with a rebound. That's what I talked about, stick-to-itiveness.
Yeah. That's a word, and then I think that really works for Ohio Northern women's
Oh my
basketball.
goodness, if that would have come close, let's just turn and blindly throw it up. So racing back with a 2-on-4 and into the ONU bench. They're not eligible, at least not to play for Muskingum. Unofficially, their 6th turnover. They average 16.1. Into the ball game will come Mackenzie Linscott, 6'1" freshman. And this might be to kind of quell that rebounding disadvantage we talked about.
They got a blackout, though. I mean, that's going to be the key.
Mackenzie's a girl that when she was a senior just last year against Zanesville, she had 18 points, but the more impressive thing is she had a game with 22 rebounds. So she can get it done on the boards.
Right.
Serving with a good ball fake. You don't see a lot of that now. Stuck on the baseline and just slapped out of play.
And I would think that's a big key if you're playing Ohio Northern women's basketball team to make sure you get a body on somebody and you eliminate their offensive rebounds.
7:25 in the first half, but serving now the inbounder. Up on the inside, a flat-handed block on Grace Dean. Back the other way, running. And forced to pick it up was Lizzie Allen, rather. Allen, speaking of Allens, Brooke will return as pulled the trigger on the triple. Linscott, who was 4 of 12. Not a good look, but it just will not. And it must be something about this end, because that happened a couple of nights ago in the men's game. Jada Benjamin in for the first time. The 5'7" junior throws a backdoor pass. It was off the fingertips of Wayne.
It was pretty crowded.
And it would say touch. Layla Dials returns. I always love the note that I have on her out of Willard High School that last year she was the player that they said, if we're picking somebody who's in charge of the music, who is it? It's her. Akamine with the little double pump pull-up.
It was an interesting out of bounds. It was cross screen, and she went high to the elbow and was pretty wide open.
Follow your own shot sort of deal here on the miss. I think Tori Jones maybe didn't realize that Akamine wasn't as close to her as she thought. And when she went and pulled up on that, by the time that she got her jump stop, realized she couldn't do anything. It was, okay, let me try to throw it and get it back.
Yep.
It's one of those odd, awkward things as Moorhead will be the one who will have to defend Bryn Servin now. Good feed inside, and the ONU all-time assist leader adds another one.
Yeah, it was a good pass. I thought she could have taken it baseline for a bounce pass, but she made a good pass from that angle.
Unselfishness, I think, is a thing that will describe that young lady. Muskingum working off the high screen. Moorhead shuttles it back across through Linscott. 3 on the way. Again, this will not roll down.
No, I mean,
No
they're
fancy way to say it.
running a 5-out kind of motion, and they're really actually getting some good looks. They're just not falling.
Trying to take out every photographer on the pass. 2 of the last 3 possessions for ONU have resulted in turnovers. The ONU men are in a battle with Muskingum, by the way, 26-24.
Yeah.
I pulled a video up, but the guy doing the camera is giving me a headache. Trying to give people what they want. Someone should tape his zoom down. What's a good set here for Muskingum? What's a good possession?
Well, they're trying to seal right now with the guard down low. I'm not quite sure why. But that was an inside-out kind of action.
Linscott nearly came away with her own miss. Sakamide. This little verbal cue there.
But again, Mike, they know their team better than I know their team, so they're sealing that girl for a purpose.
I always heard coaches use the joke after they stepped away of, what do I know? I don't coach here anymore.
Yeah. I had a good friend of mine who used to always ask me, we were watching a game, would you have done that? I was like, well, I don't know that team like he knows their team.
3 from the outside corner for Harrington. Obviously outside, but almost from outside of the building. Harrington's able to knock it down, and 9 points have been scored by Muskingum in this quarter. They're all from deep. They've made 5 shots in this game. 4 of 5 have come from behind the arc.
Yeah. And again, I would like to see Ohio Northern take that. She tried to make that pass. The angle wasn't there. She had a dribble left. If she'd have taken it more to the wing and to the baseline, I think she would have had a great post feed.
So a timeout on the floor brought to you by Precision Strip. 10-point lead for the Bears here on NK Telco Sports. Just outside of 4 minutes left in the first half here at half number 1. Ohio Northern on top after 1, 20-5 as the drawings continue. Were you a very good drawer, or did you just kind of sketch an X here and an O there?
There are a couple schools of thought there. You draw something up that you've never seen before, or you've already worked it and had it in practice. And I was that kind of guy. We already had things in, so you didn't have to do it on the fly.
Did you ever in a big game where you were trying to kind of maybe break up the monotony, or you're trying to get your team just kind of draw a snowman or something else? Just kind of make them laugh for a second of, okay, now we've broken the tension, now let's get back to being real.
No, I wasn't that guy, but Coach Campoli was. I can tell you that right now. There's some stories.
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah. Let's see, difference in this game, by the way. That shot is missed. Now 5 of 18 from the field for Muskingum. Ohio Northern is 10 of 26 overall. Speaking of, that's the 3rd different time now that Serban has made the exact same move for a basket.
Yeah, a little hesitation. She kind of brings her body up, and then she does a great job with that hesitation move.
Ohio Northern, by contrast, has just 1 3. It's a baseline jumper. Too strong for Hivik. Bears trying to go into Sunday with a 6-0 record in the conference. Got a long way to go, but Soprano off a great bounce. She was able to just kind of pick that one clean.
Allen got a pretty high post touch. It was a good skip pass.
Shot puts one across into the corner, and Claudia Harrington with her second triple, and only a shot at 1:30 to go in the first quarter to make it 16-5. Ohio Northern went down from inside for Muskingum. That is a crazy thing to me that you're getting close. I mean, you're back into single digits now with 9 as the 2 young ladies from OG and Putnam County return in Warnocky and Glenn. But Can you keep that up?
Well, they're getting pretty good looks though from their offense for threes. They just, whether they fall or not, it's going to be the key.
Servin came all the way back around, wanted to go to the corner. Now gives her room to operate. Wanted to go back door through it. It looked like it was off a foot. Redirected through Glenn, and ultimately a turnover for ONU. 2-on-1 coming back the other way as you're in the background, but unfortunately it turns into a 2-on-3 and another turnover for Muskingum.
She should have kept that or pulled it out. There was really nothing there on the transition.
Brando got caught on a in-between dribble. I didn't realize Colby Glenn was that open. She wanted to kind of stop and bounce it to her. All 2 minutes of this quarter. You're looking at a 9-point deficit right now. You're able, obviously, to get a lot of looks from three. How important are these last 2 minutes just outside of the score?
The momentum would be huge either way. If Northern stops and takes a little bit bigger lead, that's going to be a big momentum change. But if Muskingum can come in and kind of poke away at that lead a little bit, that also will be a momentum change.
So a couple of free throws now coming from Caitlin DeMassimo. At the free throw line. 22 points, 6 rebounds, and a career high 5 blocks in her last game.
Let's go, knock it down.
And this would be the first set of free throws for her team so far. But, I mean, just a massive game. Also had 3 assists in that loss to Marietta that was about as big of a heartbreaker as you can get. A steal of the ball in the last couple of seconds and an and one with .3 remaining.
Yeah. That was she's got, for her form on the free throw line, she kind of brings it up pretty high.
Speaking of a pretty high shot, it's a foul on the opposite end and put Layla Dials.
You always kind of, Mike, talk about winning the last 4 minutes of the first half and winning the first 4 minutes of the second half.
Sounds easy.
Yeah, it does sound easy, but basketball's a game of runs, and
a free throw up and down. That's the first free throw of the quarter for ONU. Dials, who comes in 16 of 24. A pretty good shot as well. 22 games as a freshman and 1 start at 8 points against Mount Union and Capital. Two teams that Northern will see as both free throws go down. But important in that last 4 minutes, like you're saying, it's a 10-point game.
Right. Thumbs up here. We got a little horns action.
Swing!
Northern does a great job of closing gaps.
Yeah, they do.
You look for a split second, and if you're Muskingum, you think, oh, we have an easy alley.
Yeah.
Back out, 3 on the way.
When you play a kind of a pack line defense like that, you can really put pressure on the ball.
Oh, there's Servin again.
Yep, nice.
Just point goes one home.
Yeah.
Just anywhere within 10 feet of the rim, throws it up and it goes in. 10 first half points for her.
24!
So working on yet another addition to her double figures over the years. Minute and a half to go in the first half. The officials need to be translucent. Is that what's happening?
I guess.
Kenzie Bicking, the all-academic.
Trying to figure out what she yelled out 24. Didn't know if that was a set or what.
Now this is going to be a Steph Curry catch and shoot.
Timeout.
1 second and a timeout on the way at 1:15. We'll stay here and look at this board right now. So a 30-second timeout. Pretty clean game for the most part. I mean, a couple of mistakes that really are hustle fouls in terms of anything, but you're in this point right now. You're inbounding from almost quarter court. You have a minute 15 to go. You're down 10 or down 12 now. You have 1 second. Are you just lobbing towards the basket?
Yep. And you got to see how Ohio Northern's going to defend it, but we had something called direct, and it would come direct from the inbounds.
See, I've always wondered, with things like this, would you ever consider, if you're Mark right now, you're obviously not going to guard the inbounder, but of maybe putting, say, Brooke Allen on the inbounder and forcing them to make that even a more ridiculous throw.
Yeah, you might have been pretty prophetic there, Mike.
Speaking of ridiculous throws, Claudia Harrington with her third triple of the quarter. That is the longest 1 second ever. I would be willing to bet you if you talk to Mark.
Yeah.
They say, I'm going to go talk to those guys. Yeah. But a heck of a throw from Harrington. You know, she got her 1,000th point in high school. She played at Covington High School. She actually got her 1,000th point against a team from Dark County in Versailles at the Knightstown gym where they filmed the movie Hoosiers.
Yeah.
What a cool place to get your 1,000th point.
Yeah.
She's a baller for sure. Courtney Hivik with the deflected ball.
You kind of get the philosophy of he was trying to muddy up the lane, and it's just, you know, again, it's 6 one way, sometimes half a dozen the next with putting someone on the ball.
I'm just saying, it's kind of one of those odd things where, you know, someone will say, well, they only have 1 second.
Right.
All right, well, she made a terrific play in 1 second. It's a long throw out ahead for Courtney Hivik. And again, this is going to have the same thing. I don't know that Hivik knew the shot clock. So turn and the throw won't come close for Moorhead, who was actually kind of a neat thing. She won the Glue Girl Award in high school at her high school. Her sister won it the year before, so it gave her household 3 straight. Inside, Brooke Allen turns, squares good.
That was really nice action. Kind of had a little curl cut off of that screen, but that was designed to hit the screener the whole time. So that was a play designed. There was a misdirection, and then it was designed to hit Allen.
So Ohio Northern will go into the halftime break with a 32-21 lead on the First National Bank scoreboard here on NK Telco Sports.
If you're a veteran, surviving spouse, or a dependent of a veteran, contact Shelby County Veteran Service Commission today. We can help you apply for a wide range of veteran-related benefits that you earned. Shelby County Veteran Service Commission. Veterans helping veterans.
CarriageWorks has expanded and now can hold up to 25 cars in our service bay. CarriageWorks thrives on customer satisfaction. We accomplish that by providing top-of-the-line technology. CarriageWorks now uses a laser beam system to measure down to the millimeter of factory specs to better service you and get you back on the road. CarriageWorks has a brand new top-of-the-line paint booth that uses waterborne paint. There's no job too big or too small for CarriageWorks. We're certified collision specialists. Come in and see us today.
The Hometown Opportunity Platform is exceptional.
It is focused, laser focused on the careers in our 4-county region.
100% of the time we go to Hometown Opportunity. We've had great success from a handful of applications when we need them, as well as a recent one where we had 67 applicants.
Honestly, it's a competitive advantage.
The Hometown experience has been everything I could have dreamed of and more.
Are you looking for a rewarding career? Lincoln Electric Automation in Coldwater and Fort Loramie supplies top-of-the-line automation systems to manufacturers. Lincoln Electric Automation routinely develops its team through hiring and by offering advanced technical training. We understand that every employee matters, and every role contributes to the success of our business. We offer advancement opportunities, competitive wages, and benefit packages. Visit LincolnElectric.com and get on track to a better career and a better future.
It is halftime here in 8 on the First National Bank scoreboard. Ohio Northern on top, 32-21. 10 points from Bryn Serban, 8 from Brooke Allen, and 2 apiece from Layla Dials and Abby Yacamine and Mackenzie Soprano. 5 for Noe Ruane, including one of the, I would like to say, one of the 3 best plays in this game, because with the shot clock winding down, she didn't even catch it clean. Put it up and good. Chloe Glenn's got 3, but it's a 3-point barrage on the other side. Just 1 shot for Muskingum in the first half came from inside, and the same young lady, and Caitlin DeMassimo, knocked down a free throw in 2 attempts. She's got a 6 spot. 3 each from Hallie Moorhead and Tori Jones, and 3 triples from Claudia Harrington, the sophomore. She came in having hit 8 on the year. She's nearly to half that if I get how math works. But I want to talk about something quickly before we get going here. You see the stats brought to you by Grand Lake Health Systems. 22-12 on the rebounding edge. 5 turnovers for the Bears, 8 for the Fighting Muskies. But just 1 of 6 from 3 for ONU. I mean, you haven't needed that yet. So far, you kind of hope that it continues that way if you're ONU. But you said shout out to the golf team because they just hooked us up during the break.
Yeah, so I want to shout out to Coach Bucci and the golf team with concessions. They're getting it done over there. They got Chick-fil-A.
He said you asked for a hot dog, making fun of the hot dogs he sold out of the other night. And he said, that's fine. Take your hot dog and take a bunch of chicken and go away.
Yeah, that's right. He got me out of there.
That's one of my favorite things in Northern. They treat you well. It's obviously a high-quality establishment that they've got here. We open up the second half, and you kind of look at this from a coaching perspective. You've been on both sides of this over the years. 11 points in basketball is not a mountain, but it's obviously an anthill. How do you approach this if you're Northern of keeping on and if you're Muskingum of trying to get back in?
Well, Muskingum, you got to look at how Northern's got 10 points off of turnovers to Muskingum's 1, and 20 points in the paint to Muskingum's 2, and then 10 points off the bench. I mean, and it's an 11-point game. Those are some lopsided numbers, and it could be a lot more than 11.
What do you change here? Sermon for 3. What do you change maybe defensively if you're Muskingum?
I would challenge, I think, Ohio Northern to take more outside shots and eliminate the post touches as much as they can. I mean, obviously, when you got that many points in the paint, that's what you got to do. They got 20 points in the paint, Ohio Northern. So
serving up with another steal to open the first possession for Muskingum.
There's another post touch. A little high off the block, good kick out.
Ohio Northern men, by the way, tied at 39 at the half at Muskingum. It's that low entry off the back door, sliding in his dials up off the glass. And she nearly hit the very top of the white square.
That was the wrong top of the triangle, but it went in.
If the shot isn't at least a 7 on the hardness scale today, it's probably not going in. We've seen that. About 3 or 4 different balls that I didn't even think a girl caught cleanly. DeMassimo works her way through the lane and is fouled by Brooke Allen.
When we talk about the triangle, we're talking about the box, and you want to hit that, that upper corner. She almost hit the upper corner of the entire backboard.
Kayla DeMassimo, who is a 5'9" junior at the free throw line. She said the one big thing is a free throw up and good. Now 2 of 3 for her and her team. That her sister Taylor sort of felt bad about being a senior is that when they were building back up the program at Norwayne, that because her sister was a year older, that she really didn't kind of get to reap the benefits of what they did with their district title run when she was a senior in high school. And it's so neat. Obviously, the D3 level provides a lot more of it to be able to see a thing like that with 2 sisters playing together in college for at least 3 years.
Yeah.
A high feed from Warnicki inside for Allen, an extra dribble turnaround, and could not point go at home. Warnicki up and over 2 different defenders. Muskingum trying to create some havoc with a 5-on-4. Allen back door and a little too long on the pass for Harrington.
Just a little too crowded. Probably that pass probably wasn't there.
So here comes Ohio Northern again leading by 12. Look at the first half and the numbers heavily slanted in ONU's favor, but got to keep on keeping on for the next 20 minutes.
Well.
Serpent traveled.
Shifted him a little bit, I guess. I don't know. Couldn't see from this angle, but looks like Muskingum's trying to be a little more aggressive going to the basket.
At Baldwin Wallace, at Capital, the next 2 games for ONU. Home for Wilmington, at Otterbein Saturday, and then the Redout at home against Capital on the 17th before Baldwin Wallace comes to town for Muskingum. 3 short, despite the bench mob trying to will it with the 3s in the air. Did you participate in that as a coach? Ball in the air, throw your hands up?
that's just the kids. But I was kind of curious. She yelled 46, and it was definitely a little curl play.
Miles.
Yeah.
Knocks down a long 2.
I mean, so Muskingum had a decent look there because inside out last trip down the floor.
Trying to work it back around to the wing for 3 and a knuckleball up and in. What else? Claudia Harrington with her 4th triple of this ball game. Averaged 16 a game as a senior. Played for the Covington Bucks with 2 C's.
Yeah.
That's how I always spell it. That's what I think of now every time I try to talk about Tom Brady when he played football. Allen works the high, and she's got 3 on her. 3-on-1 generally goes in favor of the defense.
Yeah, they surrounded her.
Also means somebody's got to be open. First couple of minutes gone here in the 3rd. ONU
see a little more aggressive attacking the basket.
Went through the hands of Moorhead into the corner, up and down. Caitlin DeMassimo with a triple. And it's not often that a head coach and Coach Broderick is kneeled down right in front of us.
All right.
Usually it's the players trying to check in with us. We will not be helpful to you.
No.
Ruane and Soprano and Ruane and Glenn rather be joined here in a second. 3 from Akamine. Took an awkward angle. I thought maybe it just needed to turn a little bit more to the right. 36-28. We talked about the 12-point advantage at one point.
Yeah. So the Muskingum's coming down and running more sets, and they're yelling out a set nearly every time down the floor.
It's got to be hard to remember all the numbers, or are all the numbers just variations of the same thing?
They can be, yeah.
You know, and that was one thing. Zakamina gets the foul trio of substitutions. The 3rd ends up being Abby Dixon. But that's one thing that I noticed, because during the halftime break, the 2 coaches for Muskingum were both sitting here for, I would say, a good 8 to 10 minutes trying to figure out, is that frustration, or you just kind of need to be away to figure out what you're going to say when you get there?
No, that's always good, because they can talk kind of amongst themselves without the head coach being there.
And then by the time you come in, you hope the seniors have figured things out, certainly.
And they know what they want to say then, or what they're going to say to the head coach.
Inside to Chloe Glenn for 2. Ended up with over 700 points in her career, despite not playing her entire junior year. Ended up being voted first team at all WBL anyways. She had 4 games that she played in that year before she messed her knee up, and ended up with about 21 points a game.
Yeah.
I think everybody saw what she would have done.
Ottawa Glendale is just a great atmosphere and a great kind of basketball community.
Big game with them in St. Mary's next week is now Serban. Can't tell you a lot about Pittsburgh basketball, but I bet she was good. Inside, Glenn for 2. Talked to her mom and her dad at the half, and they both gave me completely different versions when I said I told her she needed 15 tonight. Her dad laughed, and her mom just said, well, she better get on it. She's only got 3. That's fine. She's got 7 now. That's how Will Miller for the boys program. I need 20 from him every night. I think he had 7 the other night. So back down. Ruane kind of got caught with that in-between move defensively of which way was DeMassimo going to go, and that is the first 2 since the first quarter when she got one.
Yeah. It was a good move down low, too. Good.
Ruane. One chased it, but again, at 16-5 at 1:30, the last time that happened.
Muskingum's not going away.
I feel like they've come out with a completely different team out of the locker room.
Yeah, a little more aggressive, attacking the basket.
I don't want to say there's a 3, cut the lead, get stuck. Can you jump up there and get that?
No, I couldn't anymore, I can tell you that. I don't know that I ever could. But that was a great skip pass for a pretty good-looking, 3.
Well, what I was going to say is, I don't want to say they've come out more selectively smart.
Yeah.
But they're just attacking in kind of ways that maybe they weren't seeing in the first half.
I mean, it's an inside-out approach.
Get a look from our great camera crew about them trying to dislodge this basketball. It's a precision strip timeout. I think the young lady official is tall enough. She might be able to get it. This is not, there we go. It didn't get the Bronx cheer that I thought it was going to.
No.
I've seen those, though, where they stick up there for quite some time.
Yeah.
And it takes 2 or 3 minutes and maybe the sweeper on a pole to be able to get that down. You asked for a new basketball after that? Say I don't need that one?
I don't know. I think that's the one they used to get it down.
I would ask for a different one. So if my shots aren't going in the rest of the game, I would tell Coach, hey, man, you didn't see the air come out of the ball when it was stuck up there?
Right.
Tom Brady snuck in as you're going to look in the ONU huddle. And I'm always amazed, again, there goes Mark, about how calm he is as he's just sort of telling them what he wants.
So there's kind of an adage that you kind of, you coach in practice and you lead in games. And when I think of Mark and Coach Hillsman, that's what I think about. He really coaches them up in practice, and he's pretty calm, and he leads in games.
So your players liked you a lot more during the game than they did during practice?
I don't think it mattered sometimes.
Well, it depends on how you're playing.
True.
Ohio Northern men, by the way, trailing by 2 early on in the second half, 51-49.
I keep getting invited to their weddings, so I think it went okay.
I think you're doing all right. It's about building memories. They don't all have to be great every day.
That's right.
Serving on the trailer. Great pass inside of Chloe Glenn for 2. 6 in the quarter for her, 9 overall.
I think that's something that Coach Hillsman kind of really drew up in that timeout.
Northern
and they executed it really well. He was really pleased with that.
ONU was 17 of 40 shooting the ball. Muskingum was 10 of 28 before that shot. Serving with a rebound. Here she comes again. Long outlet out to the left wing. Dixon. And again, I can't tell you, obviously, from a basketball perspective of the X's and O's of it, but one thing I can see is ONU is doing a great job of when they come down on the break, when they realize they're going to be stopped, of spacing the floor to set up what's next.
Yeah.
Way too strong. Ruane, who is leading ONU, by the way, with 6 rebounds in the first half, decided not to go after one. Probably a good choice.
But I really, whatever Coach Hillsman drew up there, because he did, we kind of got a look at that, and he did draw it up. They came down and they executed it really well to give them a little bit more separation.
Foul me on Chloe Glenn. I thought it looked like he was drawing SpongeBob, to be honest with you.
That could be too.
But then it's very possible that I spent way too much time watching SpongeBob with a toddler. I think at some point everyone looks like SpongeBob. 42-30. They do it on Nickelodeon. We could do a game like that, right?
Yeah.
A 5-second call. Important movement, sort of, for ONU, and that they don't really lose anything, and that, yes, they get a foul on Chloe Glenn. She checks out, but doesn't cost you anything as we go into a timeout. At 2:09 left in quarter number 3. It is a precision strip timeout here on NK Telco Sports.
We are here, and here, and here. Minster Bank is everywhere, providing every banking service that you need to keep your financial life in order. Whether you are on the go or stopping by one of our branches, Minster Bank is here for you. We proudly support the communities where you live. Minster Bank, helping people achieve financial success.
I don't know who's picking the music today, but there's one young man back behind me that is just straight up getting down to it.
Yeah.
Other than that, it is not going well, by the way, in that huddle that you see right there. I heard a couple of things that were said by Coach Broderick, and
yeah,
she's borderline on being apoplectic.
Well, let's just say we can't repeat what she said.
It's a very short border, by the way.
Little shout out to Deb Miller over there. She's the director of admissions. She's sitting there in the corner.
Oh, she wouldn't let me in.
Yeah, she played softball and basketball here at Ohio Northern University.
You know, you go back and you look at the last time that Muskingum beat ONU. Bears were ranked number 11. It was in the 2020 or 2019-20 season that DeMassimo again just had a monster year last year against ONU. But Ohio Northern just continues, as they've done, to find ways to win. The ball tipped out, and I just can't wait for a week or two when we're doing games here the next handful of weeks that the student section will be back in here, because I really feel like with as good as these two programs are, Northern men trailing by 1 in the second half, 56-55, that there's nothing like the atmosphere here as Warnke's short honor jumper.
Especially with the new kind of stands and bleachers across the way. That's really a nice atmosphere with the curtain down.
So Muskingum came into today having attempted 276 threes in their first 12 games. I'm not a math major, but that's at least 20 a game.
Yeah, and that's kind of what they do.
They're making 37%. It's a great little swim move up and under for Taylor DeMassimo. That's her first 2 points of the ball game. Said she wants to be a delivery nurse when she grows up. She will take her less time than me. Good kick across for 3. And just to create that space for Abby Dixon's 5th. Oh, they give her a 2.
It was a great kick out, though. It was a kind of inside out post touch, and you always have your feet a little bit better set when it comes from the inside out.
Same move, different result for Lizzie Allen as last time around. Brooke Allen with a rebound. Northern fans looking for a foul. Mark's over there thinking about lunch, I would think. He's just always so locked in, just chewing on his gum.
Yeah.
Good move from Soprano. Enough that she just kind of deked Abby Boeing. Boeing was reaching around. And Northern will be at the line with 26 seconds to go in the third. Abby Boeing out of St. Ursula High School in Harrison down in the greater Cincinnati area.
Yeah, actually, I did my first student teaching at St. Ursula.
Of course, one of the...
A long time ago.
I think there are 3, if I'm not mistaken, St. Ursula's in Ohio. So I know Toledo's got one as well.
Yeah.
Soprano 1 for 1 on the line, 10 of 18 on the day, or on the year, but puts down 2 here. Northern's lead continues to grow. Largest it's been was 15. They're at 14 now. Now the D-up girls have come out.
Yep.
It's the entire bench off to our left.
That's more of a women's basketball thing, I think, than men's.
It's true. It'd be different. You hear a lot of deeper voices. 3 off the front of the rim for Tori Jones, and Akamino with the rebound. That's how the cookie crumbles to end the third. Bears lead by 14 on the First National Bank scoreboard as we go to quarter 4 here on NK Telco Sports.
New Knoxville Supply Company, the supply source for residential, commercial, and industrial jobs. We specialize in plumbing products from many name brands, electrical products from replacing a light switch to rewiring an entire house, heating, air conditioning, and geothermal products, sheet metal ductwork, installations, and service. We are now housing more inventory, so all the hardware items you need to complete the job are available right away. New Knoxville Supply. Stop in, call, or check us out online at newknoxvillesupply.com.
Ohio Northern is 4-1 at home on the year, trying to get to 5-1. They've got 10 minutes before they can achieve that. 46-32 the lead. Northern men trailing 60-57 with 11.5 minutes to go in the second half at Muskingum, and these teams will play again. And actually, my beautiful court at Muskingum that is up on my video feed, it'll be February the 17th. Not only Michael Jordan's birthday, but the end of the regular season. An important game going into tournament play.
Yeah.
ONU shot 19 of 44 on the game. They're 1 for 10 from 3, 7 of 8 from the line, but they were 6 of 13 in that quarter. Muskingum's 11 of 32 overall, but they're 8 of 22 from 3. Points in the paint. The Servant unleashes a 3. 28-6 lead for ONU. They're outscoring Muskingum 20-3 in bench points. Second chance points are 11-0. Fast breaks are 6-0. Points off turnovers 18-4.
Yeah, I mean, that's the big discrepancy right there. You see if Muskingum was in a zone last time down the floor.
Massimo hits down her third triple of the ball game. Cuts the lead nearly to single digits. Jada Benjamin on the right wing.
Yeah, 2-3 zone.
Benjamin will take it, averaging a point a game. This is 5'7" junior Wayne. She tried to hit it from the park in St. Mary's. Just off the river, up 66. Right there after you cross over going to Wapak. Another rebound.
They're in a 2-3 zone, and again, they gave up one offensive rebound. Sometimes when you're in a zone, you got to make sure you rebound the basketball.
You know, it's so funny that I forget there's a giant monitor in front of me, that every time I try to look around, Coach, I'm like, why didn't I just look at the monitor? I wish I had that luxury all the time.
Back into a man-to-man now.
Serving on the low for Grace Dean. Dean will kick it out. Benjamin for 3. It was all about the Benjamin on that shot, but it just, again, will not drop. Northern, it's a crazy thing in that they keep going from 3. They just won't fall down, but they still lead by 11.
Yeah.
Make it 8. Taylor DeMasio.
I would imagine the way they play and the amount of threes they take, if they're out having all night, they're going to be able to beat anybody.
Yeah, that now trims the lead down to 8.
And they're back into a 2-3 zone.
But if you're ONU, how dangerous is this right here? Because you've kind of taken a couple of mostly in-rhythm shots, but they were early in the shot clock within the first like 8 or 10 seconds.
Yeah. Well, I think that's what Muskingum is trying to do here, is just kind of disrupt the rhythm a little bit. That would have been a big shot if it would have went down. But
so now Serban trying to stop that run the other way. Great catch by Benjamin. That ball was way behind her. Doesn't have to hit the transfer portal to catch that one. It's unfortunately apparently
back into a man-to-man. I think that on the makes they were going 2-3 zone. On the misses they're going man.
Brent Serban with her first 2 of the second half, and it's just that kind of textbook little play for her. That off one-leg runner. Important though, puts the lead back to 10, and you kind of feel, you never feel invincible until the game's over, but a little bit more so I would think here. It stops that run and is proof, hey, we can make baskets too.
Oh,
Serban went after one. I don't know if Moorhead changed her flight there, but maybe disrupted what she wanted to do.
Well, she just didn't get it high off of the glass either.
Serban through a double team, spins and finds Noe Wayne from straight away. Mark Hilsman is not happy.
No, that's about as animated as I've seen him be in a while.
I think it has honestly more to do with the fact that they didn't get an offensive rebound. Nobody boxed out.
Yeah.
That shot went in the air and everybody just sort of took off.
Yeah. It's going to be interesting to see if Muskingum, what they do if they on a make.
That looked like it had to have been tipped. So I don't think Moorhead misses that shot that badly.
No.
6:07 to go. Now Dean on the back down, got slapped across the wrist. It's easy to lose the basketball when that happens.
Yeah.
5:59. DeMassimo on the drive and kick into the corner.
It's a flat screen up top.
So the worst part about, I think the worst part maybe on that transfer to Moorhead, she was set up to where she catches and shoots it normally, but it was just kind of that high ball that hung enough that she wasn't going to be able to bring it up and go.
Right. On those flat screens, they're very dangerous because if you got some shooters in the corner, you don't know which way they're going to go. We always said force them towards the benches.
Wayne with a block, went up the ladder. Soprano with Akamine return. Chloe Glenn comes with him. 3. Soprano short. 1 on 3. Ruane trying to pick up that rebound. I would love to just have a direct line into Mark's brain as this game is going along. Then again, maybe not. 5:20 to go in what is a 10-point ball game. Glenn, the defender, Akamine comes to help her out on DeMassimo. Dribble handoff, but pushed further up with 10 seconds to go. And
it's that flat screen. They got shooters in the corners.
Oh, behind. Tori Jones couldn't get a look. DeMassimo went to go around Chloe Glenn, and eventually a shot clock violation. Great defense by the Polar Bears. into a timeout, because if you got them, you might as well use them. They don't give them back. 5 minutes to go here in quarter number 4. Precision strip timeouts here on NK Telco Sports. Minutes exactly remaining here in quarter number 4. Ohio Northern on top, 48-38, trying to go to 6-0 in the OAC and send Muskingum down to 1-5 as another look inside the huddle. See, we have to put the graphic there. That way you can't see that she's actually drawing different things.
Got a shout out to Brant Berger there. He's getting the stats out to everybody pretty well. He's an Ohio Northern student here.
Mark is drawing Patrick and Squidwina this time right now. See, he's got to hurry and erase it quickly, so I don't see that, and I don't know what he's doing. But Ohio Northern in an advantageous position here, leading 48-38. 5 minutes to go in this ball game. Bears shooting 20 of 51, but just 1 of 15 from 3. Conversely, 10 of 26 from 3 will keep you in a lot of games.
Yeah.
4 of those from Claudia Harrington, 3 from Caitlin DeMassimo, who leads all scorers with 15.
Back in a... it's man-to-man yet, no?
Akamine, if you're going to leave me open, I'm going to shoot it. From Lahaina! Up and down. 51-38, and that is a big shot for her. It's just her 5th point. She averages 9. It's just a second made basket for ONU in this quarter. As the Allen on the drive in the back down from the elbow. Glenn will have to provide some defense on the quick come around.
Tried to force that with the back door. Wasn't quite open.
17th turnover for Muskingum. Serban on the setup. Akamine, a little Kickstarter on the way out to Glenn. She hit 1-3 in her career at OG, so probably wasn't going to be it. Akamine, a little double pump and a straight line laser for 2. And that's how she is, too. She hits shots in bunches. I remember that same end of the floor. She hit the game winner a year ago in this building. Almost says Baldwin Wallace to just set the place into a frenzy. 53-38 lead. It was down to 8. Now back to 15 is another turnover. ONU's got to feel like they're in a good position here with 3.5 to go.
Yeah. Akamine wanted that shot, but it was probably a smart move not to take it.
She's going to take this one.
Yep.
From the point, like she's Caitlin Clark. From the head of the logo. This time there was more than 0.1 seconds left. 3:17 to go in a timeout for Muskingum. First National Bank timeout. Bears rolling into a 30-second timeout brought to you by Precision Strip. And again, a big thank you to them, along with Keyhole Pizza, the First National Bank, Witters Meats, Great Lake Health Systems, and NK Telco. And a terrific start for ONU in this ball game, and they've just kind of ebbed and flowed throughout. Muskingum's made their runs, but overall the Bears were able to keep them at bay.
Yeah, and that was a great job with Ohio Northern out of that last timeout. You know, that momentum switched, changed a little bit. They hit a couple shots, a couple turnovers by Muskingum. Probably a good timeout right now for Muskingum to call.
So, I mean, they've got just one left, though. If you make a run in this game, how important is that with just having that one? Because anything that, let's say you're able to get within 4, 5, 6 points, any time that Northern forces you to pick up the ball or into a double team or to avoid a 5-second call, I mean, you only have one essential mulligan.
And that's why in practice, if you've put in some things prior to that, you don't have to, the timeout's not as important. We always had a lot of things in that I could call that we already had worked on. And because if you're out of a timeout, you can't draw anything up.
Well, especially at this point, I would think, I mean, we're pretty close to the halfway mark of the season. that if we, as a collective unit, don't have it by now, maybe we're not going to get it.
Right.
It's a 3 just in front of the buzzer. Or Kayla Damasio gives her a game-high 18, and she continues.
A little 2-2-1 press by Muskingum.
A wide open
Great job
on a tip ball. Waited for the defender to go by. Stuck it off the glass.
They weren't taking away the middle at all.
She's still -4, though, right now.
Muskingum was in that 2-2-1, and the middle was wide open. Ohio Northern hit the middle, and that created everything for the easy layup.
And you know what I think is most impressive for ONU is the fact that Glenn had 3 in the first half, but it was all Brooke Allen in the post. Now with Allen not scoring, Akamine waiting for the basketball off the block. But it's been Chloe Glenn who's picked it up. I mean, she's got 8 in the second half now.
Yeah.
So ONU doing a little bit of everything. Serving to the elbow and a kickball. Soccer season is definitely over.
Drop in on that, on the far side.
Substitution out will come Courtney Hivik. It will go Tori Jones.
I'll tell you, Coach, he coaches them up over here at Muskingum.
That's good coaching.
Yeah.
It's a tip ball. You got to feel for Soprano, though, because when she took her jump stop, the 2 defenders sort of ran at her, and at the last minute, she sees her teammate open and Noe Ruane, but just isn't able to kind of pull that over. If she maybe had been able to ball fake and bounce, it would have been easy, too.
That would have been the thing to do.
But it's easy to see from here.
Yeah. That's interesting.
Show him the ball trick.
Yeah. You don't see that much. She came in and post up from the inbounds.
1:40 to go in the ball game and a 14-point Ohio Northern advantage on the First National Bank scoreboard. Backdoor there for a second. DeMassimo with a high dribble. I tell you what, that's an impressive take for her because that's an awkward high dribble. She had to pick, turn, and then throw up the shot.
And they immediately came in out in that 2-2-1 again press. They try to take away the middle with the deep corner on the 2-2-1, and Ohio Northern did a good job with their composure and patience.
Also keep in mind, with a minute to go, Muskingum has not committed a foul in this fourth quarter. Coming in for 3. Wasn't a bad-looking shot. Now you think maybe 2 possessions and the game is over if you're Northern. 55-43 they lead, but a team that is averaging 65 a game held to 43. And to be fair, I said Muskingum hadn't fouled.
Yeah.
Bryn Serban's second foul, team's second. It's been a mostly foul-free second half.
With the amount of time, I'm surprised at so many games I see where people don't have quick hitters in. Like, you don't have time to run a motion. You got to kind of have a quick hitter.
So ONU out of the precision strip timeout will make an entire line change. So it'll be Liz Key out of Lakota West High School in Liberty Township into the ball game for the first time, being joined by Courtney Summer from just down the road here. Well, and down the road and around the corner at Ada High School. Dean back in there, got a left hand on it, but really didn't matter. Jada Benjamin in there as DeMassimo.
That's a full court man-to-man is what Muskingum has come out in.
You're also on a different kind of line right now because you're on pretty much a third team trip right now if you're ONU. That game's kind of a starting lineup the other way.
Yeah, looked like a 2-2-1 at the very end of that little break.
Mark Hillsman tried to get referee's attention to make sure he knows where everything's coming from.
Yeah.
They've been playing pretty much like smooth jazz the whole time. Now they're playing 3 Days Grace. It's a much different atmosphere.
I'm telling you.
I guess if we cross over 3:30, it'll be time to party.
The students are gone for break yet. That's the whole key on who's controlling the music.
Muskingum trails 71-70 now. Midway through the, actually it should be late in the second half. It was 71-68 Ohio Northern in the men's game, but a terrific pull-up from the free throw line cut that game to 2. Or now down to 1. 37 seconds here. Ohio Northern on top, 55-45. Again, the Bears with a completely different lineup now. Sumner, I would surmise, would be the point guard in this set. She and Abby Dixon out on the floor. To be Dixon at the corner of the volleyball line. It's still no fouls from Muskingum. You got to get 5 in a hurry.
Man-to-man run and jump is what they're trying to do here.
Ball worked across. Now on the inside and clinching home is Grace Dean's first 2. 57-45, and this should be the last possession of this ball game. Down to 12, 11, and 10. Now Northern's going to go to 5-1 at home, but most importantly, 6-0 in the OAC as a shot from the baseline for Harrington. That's the first 2 of the quarter for her, but just 5 makes from 2. A lot of threes to keep them in the game, but a 57-47 win for ONU. We'll talk about it and finish things off before we send the Bears on the road when we come back here on NK Telco Sports.
At First National Bank, we are working hard to make your life a little easier. With products like Card Valet, an app allowing you to control your cards with real-time notifications, transaction restrictions, and spending limits. The ability to access your money through 55,000 all-point ATMs across the country, surcharge-free. Live customer support when you need it, and online and mobile banking, allowing you to gain access to your financial information wherever and whenever you like. First National Bank, making your life a little easier.
Hi, I'm Mallory. My grandpa's been making the world's worst pizza for 30 years. That doesn't look like the world's worst pizza. Grandpa, I know why they call you Chunky Bob. It's because you use chunky ingredients on your pizza.
Of course, it's not because I'm fat.
Grandpa, this is the world's best pizza. Keyhole Pizza, come check Grandpa out.
Dine in or carry out.
Together, we are family, working safely for our loved ones.
We are problem solvers who challenge the status quo and drive improvement.
We care about our customer relationships.
We stay true to our values, caring and respecting one another.
We embrace change as we journey through our career.
We are Precision Strip, the world's leading processor of rolled steel and aluminum.
Precision Strip, doing the exceptional.
Hometown Opportunity serves Mercer County, Auglaize County, Darke County, and Shelby County.
The website as a whole is pretty user-friendly. I was able to filter down my options, see what types of jobs were out there for me in the area.
It really opened up my eyes to the employer market around here.
We know that our local candidates, a lot of times, are our most successful candidates because they want to come here and stay.
It's become the go-to site for anybody looking for a job in the region.
20-5 Ohio Northern lead after 1, and a 57-47 win for the Polar Bears. As you see the stats in today, brought to you by Grand Lake Health Systems, and a big win for Ohio Northern. They go to 6-0 in the OAC. Ohio Northern men, by the way, about 4 minutes ago at Muskingum, tied at 72. 9 turnovers for ONU, 18 on the other side, but the number that sticks out about that, and you already had it highlighted, is 23 points off those 18 turnovers for ONU, just 4 off 9 the other way. Ohio Northern with 7 more rebounds, just 12 free throws in this game, so congratulations to the officials for that, and thank you to them. Ohio Northern shoots 58 times, but just 2 for 18 from 3, and they win by 10.
Right.
Basketball's an odd game at times.
And the other stat that kind of jumps out on me is in paint touches, 34 points for ONU and only 10 for Muskingum. But I think that's what they do. They're gonna shoot the 3.
Bench points the other time too. 24-3.
Right.
Chloe Glenn, as you see, Brooke Allen on the Winners Quality Meets replays. Allen ends up with 8. Chloe Glenn has 11. They flip. Allen gets 8 in the first half. Glenn gets 8 in the second half. Bryn Serban continues to hit just absolutely ridiculous shots on her way to 12 for a team high. Abby Dixon with 2. Layla Dials with 6. 7 for Abby Yakamine, including a 5-point run in the fourth quarter. 4 for Mackenzie Soprano, 5 for Noe Ruane, and 2 for Grace Dean. Other side, Hallie Moorhead with 3, as is Tori Jones. They both hit triples in the second quarter that at the time cut the lead to 22-11. Claudia Harrington with 14. She had 3 triples in the second quarter. 5 for Taylor Damasio, and her sister Caitlin had a game-high 22. Outside of obviously the couple of stats we just talked about, Rich, what are 1 or 2 takeaways that kind of just immediately stick out to you about this game?
Well, I mean, when you talk about bench points, it's 24 for Ohio Northern and 3 for Muskingum. That tells me that the depth of each team's obviously are really conversely different. I mean, you're deeper with Ohio Northern if you can rotate some players in there, and you know they're able to give you production with points.
Second trip up this way for Muskingum. They snapped a 3-game win streak with a loss in the Holiday Classic at Bluffton. Played 2 games up there, but on a 2-game losing streak now. They go to home to take on Wilmington on Wednesday. They go to Otterbein Saturday, get Capital, and then home for at Baldwin Wallace. Men, by the way, leading 74-72 with 2:10 to go. As we wrap things up, the ladies who are back from Las Vegas, where they went 1-1, beat Otterbein on the road. They now win here at home. They go on the road to Berea and Baldwin Wallace on Wednesday, at Capital next Saturday, home for Wilmington at John Carroll. The heat of OAC play is coming.
Yeah, this is the kind of the long stretches of the winter, and these are the ones you just got to get through.
Today's game brought to you by the First National Bank, Keyhole Pizza, Precision Strip, Winners Quality Meats, Grand Lake Health Systems, and NK Telco. And a big thank you to our cameramen in Jim Miller, Mark Fissel, Paul Downing, and Andrew This. And our assistant director in David Mansell, and our director in AA, Austin Ambergy. For Rich Bensman and Mike Kern, a 57-47 win for Ohio Northern. Have a great night and an even better tomorrow from all of us here at NK Telco Sports.